Thanks for joining us for this Energizer number 500. In this week's portion, Miketz, the Torah describes the meeting of Joseph and his brothers after 22 years of separation. Joseph did not identify himself, and the brothers viewed him not as their brother, but as the viceroy, the second in command in Egypt. When Joseph meets his brother, his beloved brother, Benjamin, the Torah recalls that Joseph was filled with an extra degree of compassion, extra degree of love. Joseph and Benjamin were the only two sons of Jacob who shared the same mother, Rachel. The great commentary Rashi describes what happened with what was Joseph's expression of love. And Rashi explains, quoting the Talmud, that there was a conversation between Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph asked Benjamin, "Do you have any brothers who have the same mother as you?" And Benjamin says, "Yes, one brother, but he's missing." Joseph proceeded to ask him, "Do you have any sons?" "Yes," Benjamin replied, "I have 10 sons. And as a matter of fact, I have named each of my 10 sons to display, to connect to the love that I have for my missing brother." And Benjamin proceeds then to enumerate the names of each of his sons. And he explains each name. And he comes to a name called Chupim. Chupim, from the Hebrew word chuppah. And Benjamin explains, "I named him Chupim because I was not at my brother's chuppah, and my brother was not at my chuppah. We were not at each other's wedding." So, speaking of brothers, my brother, Rabbi Herschel Becker, in his beautiful book, In Pursuit of Peace, quotes this Rashi and quotes a commentary by Hivashur Melech, Rabbi Yitzchak Meisels, who quotes a great sage who asks a question on this Rashi. And the question is the following. Benjamin says, "I named my son Chupim because I was not there at my brother's wedding, and my brother was not at mine." So this great sage asks, well, if you're going to commemorate that you were not there, then you should give the name not Chupim. Some kind of name that indicates you were not there. Why are you giving a name, or why did he give a name indicating that he was there? And this great sage answers so beautifully that, yes, physically they were not at each other's celebrations, physically they were not at each other's weddings, but emotionally they were there. The love was there, and they generated love for each other. So in a sense, they were there at the chuppah of each other. The story is told about the great sage Rabbi Akiva Eger. When he got married, he received a letter from his uncle. And the uncle wrote, "I'm sorry that I cannot come to the wedding. However, I want you to know that on the day of your wedding, I am making a giant celebration. I am inviting great rabbis. I am inviting guests. And we are going to celebrate. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. And we're going to celebrate your marriage. We're going to generate love for you and blessing for you." Rabbi Akiva Eger answered this so beautifully. He said, "Thank you so much. I feel that you were there. Thank you so much for the expression of love." The story is told about Rabbi Abraham Grozinski, the great, legendary mashgiach, spiritual guide of Slobodka Yeshiva. He was at one time with his family in a small town near Warsaw. They had to be there. And one night, the family members see the rabbi beaming with joy. What's going on? What's the celebration? And he said, tonight in Slobodka, there's a young man who's getting married. Although I can't be there, I can still celebrate, and I can still generate love, and I can still generate feeling, and I can still generate blessing. Slobodka and Warsaw. I checked on the internet. 440 kilometers away. This is, in early 1900s, quite a distance. But the distance didn't stop the love. Where did this concept come from? I can't make it to the wedding, but I'm generating love. What does it mean and where does it come from? I suggest the following. King Solomon teaches in Proverbs that just as a face looks at water and reflects, so too does the heart of one person reflect to the next person. The great commentary Rashi explains. When you look at the water, you look at the reflection of the water. If you smile, the reflection smiles back at you. You put out a sour face, it's going to put a sour face back at you. You twist and turn, it's going to twist and turn. So too is the heart of one person to the next. If you feel love, then that love will be transmitted through space, through time. Magic? No. Spiritual? Yes. That's how love works. Love can be transferred from one heart to the next. We have been experiencing great difficulty, all of us, universally all over the world. So many of us have not been able to share, to go to celebrations, to be close, physically close to family members. We feel like, in a sense, we're imprisoned. Physically, yes, to some extent, but the heart is free. The heart is free to generate love. The heart is free to generate feeling. The heart is free to generate blessing, and that transfers. No matter how far away we are one from another. We are in the midst of celebrating Hanukkah. Hanukkah commemorates the battle of the Greeks against the Jews. The battle of Greek teachings, Greek ideology, and Torah ideology. The Greeks stood for physical. Everything is physical. That's the beginning and that's the end. The Jews stand for and live by the spiritual. The teachings of God, the teachings of the Torah. The Jews live by the heart, as it says in Shema, to love Hashem with all your heart, with all your soul. Meaning, what is love your heart with all Hashem, with all your heart, with all your soul? You can pray. You can connect to God. Miles away. Families in New York, families in Chicago, families in California. You can connect to God with your heart. And we can connect to each other with our hearts. That the Greeks could not understand. But we Jews understand this. So, dearest friends, yes, we are at a time when there's so many things that we want to do, we can't do. And we want so much to be at celebrations that sometimes we can't go to. because of the situation, to spend time with our loved ones, and we can't. Now the message from this Rashi, this is before Zoom. Today at least we have Zoom. But even Zoom, the heart transcends even Zoom. So when we feel limited, that we can't be there physically, no, think of this beautiful lesson from Rashi, from this week's portion, that the heart is free and the heart can generate love. And when we generate love to our loved ones, they will feel it. It will generate love in their hearts. That is powerful. And that's something very substantial that we can do even when we're feeling physically limited. Spirituality, spiritual connection, love is much more powerful than anything physical. Have a beautiful Shabbos and a joyous Hanukkah. Love to all of you, and thank you for joining us in Energizer 500 and all the Torah Energizers.